City Chiefs sellout. The Colts have owned the meetings of late between these two teams, including a never-to-be-forgotten upset defeat of Kansas City here on this field in 1995 when the Chiefs were heavy favorites and were also 13-3. That's Dominic Rhodes 2 years ago returned a kickoff against the Chiefs for a touchdown. Baker kicks it off. A spinner short to the 7. Here comes Rhodes to the 25, the 30-yard line, and a crush of red jerseys greets him there, and a fumble on the play, and Jerry Austin says the Colts maintain possession. Shenard Hartz came up with the ball, number 42 for Kansas City. Here's Peyton Manning in the starting lineup for the Colts. All-Pro Manning, over 4,000 yards passing for a record 5th consecutive year. Jeff Saturday moves back to center after his guard duty last week against Denver. And All-Pro marvelous Marvin Harrison keys the Colts' potent passing game. Edger and James behind Manning, no huddle. Hand signals, some mean something, some do not. James runs into his own blocker, no gain. John Browning led the charge defensively. Defensive end Vonnie Holliday, 5.5 sacks, led the Chiefs this year. They need to generate more pressure. Rookie Kawika Mitchell starts at middle linebacker for the injured Mike Maslowski. And Dexter McCleon, 6 interceptions, tied Greg Wesley for the Kansas City lead. The Chiefs, with a +19 turnover differential, led the NFL. Second down, and James again. Maybe 2. It'll bring up 3rd and long as Scott Fujita led that defensive charge.
And for the first time, the noise subsides a little bit. Not a single person in this stadium is seated. This is a savvy crowd at Arrowhead. They know the disruption and the havoc that they can create with a visiting team's offense. This noise is almost like a stiff wind. You almost have to brace yourself and stand into it.
Manning even took his team into the huddle for that last call. His first shotgun on 3rd and 8. Here they come, and his throw all complete. Harrison. And Marvin Harrison finds an opening and a first down at the 42 in front of Eric Warfield. Manning told us he doesn't mind the noise.
Well, it was a blitz by the Chiefs, Dick, but it was so delayed that it put no pressure on Peyton Manning at all, and it forced Eric Warfield in the secondary to give Marvin Harrison a lot of cushion. If you're going to blitz Manning, you better time it out better than that. You better be in his face, or you're asking a lot to tight cover these guys.
Harrison, the only man in NFL history with 100 receptions in 4 consecutive years. James, short yardage. Runs into Barber and Mitchell, 2 Kansas City linebackers at the 45. James injured here a couple of years ago, a severe knee injury that cost him this season, so he has unpleasant memories of this place. Dick Vermeil took his St. Louis Rams all the way to the Super Bowl victory 4 years ago, trying to repeat here across state in the west of Missouri. Second and 8 for Manning. The quick throw is complete to the tight end, and Marcus Pollard's first catch in front of Kawika Mitchell.
That should come up a little bit short, leaving a 3rd and short. If I see this correctly, let's. Yeah, it looks like he's a little bit short, bringing up a 3rd and short. These are the 2 best teams in the league, by the way, when it comes to first down yardage. They're not accustomed to long yardage situations, and again, this is where snap count, the offensive lineman getting off precisely on a short yardage play is critical.
Tom Lipinski at fullback in front of James. And Manning hurrying up to the line of scrimmage. It's James to the left side, a first down and more as he spins to the 42 of the Chiefs. Good block by Lipinski, the rookie from Notre Dame.
How about that look? Peyton Manning was turned around with his back to the line of scrimmage talking to Edgerrin James, and he saw the play clock behind him down to 3 seconds, and he sprinted back there and got it off in time. Good looking block out in front. Look, he's back there. He was talking to James and saw that play clock behind him, and boy, did he hustle to get back and get that play off in time.
With the no huddle, of course, he has the luxury of spending a lot of time as he is now using hand signals to call out a play. The fake to James. Lots of time. He goes long for Harrison. Too long. Greg Wesley came back to cover from his safety spot.
Well, Greg Wesley is going to get a big thank you from Eric Warfield, who fell down in his coverage. And if it wasn't for the safety help over the top, that would have been an Indianapolis touchdown, because Peyton Manning wouldn't have had to put so much air under that ball.
Warfield told us he has to be physical in defending against Harrison at the line of scrimmage to try to throw him off his very quick routes. Brandon Stokely, one of the stars of the Denver win, is in at slot left. James. Big hole, breaks a tackle down to the 25 and a first down. Reggie Wayne, the wide receiver on that side, threw a good clearing block.
Well, getting to the outside on this stretch play is something the Colts do with regularity. And you see the block there by Reggie Wayne back to the inside. This is a bread and butter play for the Indianapolis Colts. As a matter of fact, the Chiefs equally as successful getting Priest Holmes outside containment as well. Mirror images in many ways.
Dominic Rhodes gives James a rest, and this is Rhodes trying the right side. And he is dumped unceremoniously by Sean Barber, the ex-Eagle, with support from Eric Hicks.
Both of these teams talk to us defensively about how they have got to get their defensive ends and linebackers upfield, funnel it back to the inside. I know it's easier said than done when you see how these two running backs can get outside and pick up yardage outside of containment.
A loss of a couple. 3 wide set. Stokely in the slot. Wayne to the left. Harrison is always to the right. 10th play of this opening drive. The fake to Rhodes. Manning down the middle to Stokely. Touchdown! Brandon Stokely, who caught 4 passes for over 140 yards and 2 touchdowns last week against Denver. Wide open between McCleon and Woods.
Well, a complete blow in the Kansas City secondary, as they don't account for Brandon Stokely whatsoever. And once again, play action on 2nd and 12 still freezes everybody and causes confusion in the Kansas City secondary. Oh, in a playoff situation, how demoralizing is it for a defense to allow a receiver to be absolutely uncontested? That hurts.
Vanderjagt, perfect all year. Not only point afters, but 37 out of 37 field goals. A 29-yard throw. Manning to the wide open Stokely. Come up games. Dante Hall, a short kick to the 15. Reverses. And the Colts were ready for him, and the tackle made at the 23 by Jason Doring. And we'll take a timeout. 7-0 Colts. The other quarterbacks break down the first 6 games so that he knew every play the Kansas City defense ran all season long.
Let's go back and look at the touchdown day. I want you to look right here at safety Greg Wesley. He's looking at the 2 Colts receivers here, unsure of which to cover. And as you roll this, you're going to see one thing. He doesn't cover either one of them. He just stands there. They both go right by him, and he's unsure of what to do, so he doesn't even pick up either one of them, and that's a costly error.
Priest Holmes back-to-back runs, and he has the Chiefs first down out to the 36-yard line. Donald Strickland made the tackle. Kansas City Pro Bowler Trent Green leads the NFL's highest scoring team. He starts his first playoff game at age 33. Veterans Willie Roaf and Will Shields, 9 times a Pro Bowler and one of the best NFL offensive lines. And Priest Holmes, no one in NFL history has rushed for more touchdowns, 27 this season. How quiet it is now as Green goes to work on offense. He fires down the middle, and it's complete to Tony Gonzalez, the tight end, at the Colts 48. Gonzalez, who had 71 receptions this year, the all-pro tight end.
And needless to say, he'd be a favorite target of yours if you were a quarterback. Tony Gonzalez owns the middle of the field, and what a good job he does going down and digging out a low pass from Trent Green. That's a pass that's easily mishandled by a tight end. Good job by Gonzalez going down and getting it.
16 on that play. Eddie Kennison in motion. They give it on the reverse to Johnny Morton, and Morton spins inside the 45-yard line, a gain of only 4 against the Colts defense that lines up this way. Up front, Dwight Freeney's 11 sacks and 4 forced fumbles earned him a Pro Bowl trip. Marcus Washington with Morris and Thornton, a speedy linebacker core for Indianapolis. And David Macklin, he had 2 interceptions last week against Denver. And the Colts feel that in the last half of the season, Macklin has been as good as anyone in the back 4.
Big Rob Morris, the middle linebacker of the Colts, got up and acted like he'd injured an arm or a shoulder after that play.
Draw play to Priest Holmes. Breaking tackles. Look at him fight to the 28. Oh, they love that here.
Well, nothing new here. Priest Holmes enjoys outstanding blocking. Take a look at that. And then, of course, he's more than capable of breaking a couple of tackles on his own. As Priest Holmes told us, I finally got the swivel back in my hips. My stutter step is back. And this is a guy who still says he's only 90%. That's a tough sell when you watch that, isn't it?
Dick Vermeil says it's the best he's seen him since the injury a year ago. He gets the call again, and another big hole, and rumbles for nearly 10 more to the 18-yard line. 4 carries for Holmes, and he's sitting on 38 yards on this opening drive.
And the Colts right now having to go without their middle linebacker. Rob Morris went to the sideline. But again, look at the cavernous hole to the inside. John Tate seals off the entire right side. Will Shields out in front as well. And this is a strong beginning for the Kansas City running game.
And this is the team most successful in the red zone in the NFL this year, scoring touchdowns. This is the reason why. Priest Holmes, and he's to the 6-yard line. Donald Strickland from the secondary made the tackle.
Well, there's opening a hole, and then there's gashing a defense. This is gashing a defense. Look at that. Every guy on the line of scrimmage wearing a white jersey is on the ground. And this Kansas City front 5 is just manhandling the Indianapolis front line right now.
They go to a tight formation, 2 tight ends. The fullback, Tony Richardson, he's going to the Pro Bowl, blocking in front of Holmes. And Holmes spins to the 3 and meets an unwelcoming committee led by Larry Triplett, number 75.
This is the best red zone offense in the National Football League. They score a touchdown 78% of the time they are in the red zone, and it's because of Priest Holmes. They run the football in the red zone. A lot of teams in this league fail to be able to run it. Look at that. Since '95, the Chiefs are the best in the red zone. But it is all because they give it to 31.
Not afraid to run it. Most teams try to pass, and apparently Green is here. Throws to the end zone, incomplete. Off the hands of Mark Boerichter, who came in as a second wide receiver in this tight formation.
Boerichter looked like a defensive back trying to knock it down. He's wide open. The ball a little bit out in front of him, but for some reason Boerichter was trying to make a one-handed stab. Kind of an awkward looking attempt at catching.
So now a tougher call. 3rd and goal from outside the 3. Holmes on the sweep. Slips and falls and loses a yard as Marcus Washington from the backside. We talked about the speed of the Colts linebackers. You saw it there.
But for most teams in the league, this is a passing situation. But the Chiefs unafraid to give it to Priest Holmes, and you can see he just laid that left foot actually all the way onto the outside of his shoe. He misjudged that baby. He didn't even have a cleat in the grass.
Gordon Anderson, the 43-year-old veteran in his 22nd season, with a short 22-yard attempt. Tough angle. But it's right down the middle. Anderson, who missed only 4 all season long, and they were all over 40 yards. It's 7 off now by Jason Baker. Dominic Rhodes waits at the goal line. He'll come up to receive this one, although Ricky Williams going to take it. Fumbles it. Picks it up. No, he doesn't. And now he'll cover at the 24-yard line. Muff that kickoff catch. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker. You know, they'll be telling us they're going to put a roof on Wimbledon center court, you know. What a week. Here comes the noise as Manning, play action, wide open is Pollard, and he lets it go off his chest. He had 10 yards at least in front of him.
Looked like Marcus had to slow down a little bit. The ball was back on his right shoulder, but still, no, the more I look at it, that was right in the middle.
Look at in front of him. There's no one there.
Yeah. No, geez, no excuse for not grabbing that.
Manning literally pulling Pollard over to position as a tight end left. And the give to James. Nothing there. Tries to spin out, but second support from Wesley helping out John Browning. You see, the Colts tied with the Eagles for the best road record in the NFL this year, and Kansas City, one of the teams, perfect at home. .103 on the audiometer. That's getting up near jet airplane noise range. Manning protected well, breaks down now, and then he finds Harrison for a first down at the 37-yard line. Jerome Woods covers him.
Excellent job by the Colts offensive line, giving the Colts receivers an opportunity to get open downfield. Look at Marvin Harrison, makes a triple move on Eric Warfield and then breaks it back to the inside. You can't do that unless your offensive line is stoning the defensive line and giving your quarterback a lot of time.
13 yards and a first down. And he gets it off in plenty of time. 2 seconds. James with a handoff. And he breaks a tackle. First down. And he's all the way to midfield. And the Colts moving well on both the arm of Manning and the legs of Edgerrin James. Kawika Mitchell, the rookie middle backer, made the tackle.
Again, good block there by Ryan Deem, the right tackle of Indianapolis. And again, we're finding running backs so far in this first quarter with plenty of room to operate. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, knows, I guarantee you this guy didn't sleep more than 3 hours a night anytime this week trying to prepare for the Colts offense.
On first down, play action to James, and Manning looking for a big one down the middle. It's complete to Harrison at the 10-yard line. Woods, the tackle, and the Colts strike deep again.
The best play action quarterback in the National Football League is Peyton Manning, probably the best since Boomer Esiason. He froze the Kansas City defense and found that there was one-on-one coverage with Marvin Harrison, and he'll go to him anytime, anywhere he finds single coverage.
38 yards. That was Pro Bowler Harrison against Pro Bowler Woods. James, a huge hole, touchdown. Edgerrin James slams in from 11.
And the Colts 2 for 2 on their drives, 2 touchdowns, 2 possessions. And this is a little demoralizing, to say the least, for the Chiefs faithful and their defense. What an opportunity for Edgerrin James as he goes right up the middle and isn't even touched until he gets to the 1-yard line.
You know, Dan, last week in the first half, they scored 4 touchdowns and a field goal, weren't stopped. Now 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns today. They're perfect in the first half, and Vanderjagt, Mr. Perfect with that right foot.
And people said, how are they going to equal the emotional level they were at last week in that win against Denver? Well, I think they've done it.
yards and wasn't touched till he hit the goal line. Dante Hall and Derek Blaylock deep as Vanderchat and that bunch of special teamers now break their huddle. They'll even try a non-side kick out of that formation. Kick is relatively short to Hall at the 16. Dante sprinting across the 40. Still on his feet at the 40 of Indianapolis and tackled at the 38. But hold on, there's a flag down way back at the 33-yard line. And it's coming back.
Yeah, it's holding against Kansas City.
Holding 56 of the return team, 10 yards, first down.
Monty Beisel guilty. Jerry Austin the referee today.
It'll come in from the left here. Monty Beisel, number 56. There it is, right there in the middle of your screen. And that was enough that Gerald Austin threw the flag and brought it all the way back. Let's go back and take a quick look at the Colts. You see the three guys here. Watch how Peyton Manning waits them out and watch them all come up and declare themselves on the line of scrimmage. And folks, if you can be seen, you can be blocked. And that's one of the things that Peyton Manning does. He outweights a defense and gets them to declare their positions. And that time they declared, and the Colts handled it.
After the penalty, Kansas City starts from the 23, and Priest Holmes loses a couple as Monte Rager shoots through to make the tackle. Rager, the fifth-year tackle from Texas Tech, who was way open the second quarter. Dick Enberg with Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein. The Colts leading the Chiefs 14-3, and Trent Green second and 12 at his own 21. Played at Indiana, hands it off to Holmes on a delay, and Holmes in trouble, picks up a block, reverses his field. And will he even get back to the line of scrimmage? No, he'll lose a yard as he's smothered at the 20-yard line by Washington, Strickland, and several others.
Well, we've certainly seen Dante Hall do this a great deal for the Colts. But right here, as he attempts to get upfield, you see Marcus Washington, number 53, the Colts linebacker, was the guy that honored his responsibility, kept contained, and forced Holmes to go the other direction. Once a running back in this league has to do that, more often than not, that's the result.
He did get back to the 21, so no loss on the play, but it's 3rd and 12. Holmes out, and Derek Blaylock, the third-year running back from Stephen F. Austin, number 23, replaces him. Green looking downfield, fires down the middle. Caught by Eddie Kennison, a tough juggling catch in a crowd at the 45 between Harper and Strickland.
Oh, multiple factors there, Dick. First of all, outstanding pass protection by Kansas City allows Trent Green to stand up, and then a wonderful throw from Green right over the outstretched hands of Nick Harper. Look at the block. Look at the pocket form. The ends upfield, out of the picture. Nobody up the middle. Trent Green can stand up there, and Eddie Kennison stayed with it.
Kennison, one of 4 Chiefs receivers to catch 50 passes or more this year, the only team in the league. Play action wide open is Bo Richter, and he's inside the 35-yard line of the Colts, and a first down. Strickland again, the tackler.
Well, I'll use mirror image one more time because of the effective play action that both of these offenses possess. And that was a ball that was a little bit behind the big receiver. And I say big at 6'3", 220, but Mark went back and made a nice hands grab. And you know that right now Kansas City and their offensive huddle is saying to themselves, guys, this might be one of those days we better score every time we have the football. And I've been in that situation before, and that's the way you feel.
Holmes back into the game. He gets the ball. And a pickup of nearly 6 yards before, once again, the rookie from Colorado, Strickland, the tackler. Robert Mathis, another rookie, Alabama A&M for the Colts, assisted on the play.
When you can knock off 6 yards on first down, and that is the average that both of these teams have on first down, your job as an offensive coordinator is a whole lot easier. The world is a nice place when you're looking at 2nd and 4 consistently.
The Colts averaged 6.5 yards a play this year, and the Chiefs 6.4 on first down. Off play action, faking the reverse, and then they throw a screen to Holmes. He breaks a tackle, and able to stumble inside the 30, almost back to the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard. David Thornton, who led the Colts in tackles, made the stop. Let's go down to Bonnie.
Well, Dick Priest-Holmes had the pass on that last play, but what the Chiefs really focused on with him this past week was running downhill. Dick Vermeil told us running out to the perimeter is our bread and butter with Priest, but we really thought with the matchups we got on Indianapolis this week, their suspect run defense, that we could work on that and find success. They certainly did on that first drive. His running downhill was a big factor.
You saw Priest-Holmes, Bonnie, with that solid average to start. Derek Blaylock has replaced him in the backfield. Green wanted to go to Blaylock, but he was covered, so Green, hustling forward to the 20, has the first down. He rushed for only 83 yards all season.
And that makes him the best rushing quarterback in this game because neither Trent Green nor Peyton Manning is a burner. Neither one of them will be confused with Michael Vick, but talk about effective. Anytime a quarterback takes off with the football and moves the chains, it was an all-star effort.
Blaylock stays in the game behind Green. First down at the 19. That's Richardson, the fullback, in motion. And to give to Blaylock, but a big jam up in front of him. He ran into his own blockers because Thornton had come in to mess up the play entirely. Say, fans, you can continue to follow all of the playoff action with previews and matchups of both the AFC and NFC championship games. Get complete coverage at CBSSportsline.com.
Dick, normally a good drive like this, even if it results in a field goal, you'll say, well, that was a success. But in reality, with Kansas City, they need touchdowns. Touchdowns, not field goals. And a great start, as you see there, for Trent Green.
Second down and a dozen at the 22. Steps up away from pressure, throws incomplete. Whistled that one through the hands of Eddie Kennison. Strickland and Macklin there to cover.
Now let's take a good look at it from the free safety position. This is what he sees right down the middle of the field. That's a very catchable ball that Eddie Kennison has to catch. You know, Kennison, the knock on Eddie, great speed and everything else, but he does not have the softest hands of what you would normally expect in a wide receiver in the National Football League. That's a very catchable ball.
He was one of the many outstanding wide receivers in the '96 draft, including Marvin Harrison, #1 pick. Green to the sidelines, and it's caught. Walt Harris is the cover man, and it was Johnny Morton who started at Southern California to make the catch and a first down.
Well, sometimes a perfect route followed up by a perfect throw, it can't be defensed. And that's awfully good coverage by Walt Harris. But that is just Trent Green and Johnny Morton on the same page to perfection.
They needed 12. They got 14. And it's first and goal.
You know, from Walt Harris's standpoint, you couldn't have been there anymore.
Oh, that was great coverage. Holmes hit in the backfield and dumped by Monte Rager again. That's twice he's made a tackle for a loss. And he's slow getting up. Drafted by Denver in the second round back in '99 and picked up as a non-restricted free agent this year.
And I don't think he is going to get up. He's staying down, waiting for the Colts medical staff.
Timeout. 14-3. 5 of 7, 99 yards for Manning, 75 for Green. Green looking for that touchdown pass to pull the Chiefs back in this. They trail by 11. Green goes to a secondary target. Dante Hall. Touchdown. What a great read by Green. He knew his primary target was covered. Boom. Right to Hall.
Well, defensively, you pay a price if you come on a blitz and you don't get there. And that was a masterful job of protection by Kansas City, picking up the Indianapolis blitz. That's the key to this play. That allowed Dante Hall to have room in the middle and Green the time to find him.
Hall had 40 catches in the regular season, only 1 touchdown reception. Gets his postseason score. Morton Anderson adds the extra point. 77 yards in 12 plays. Green to Dante Hall, and it's 14-10. Impeccable in terms of the cut by Morton, and the pass being right where it had to be. Dominic Rhodes with a short kickoff out across the 25, and horse wrestled down there at the 29 by Gary Steele. Gary Stills with a tackle. Timeout, 14-10. And the Colts start from their 28. Fake to James. Look at the time, and he's going long for Harrison. Incomplete. Just missed that right-handed, one-handed stab. Harrison as he leaned at the Chiefs' 30-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at the Kansas City touchdown. I talked about the blitz. These two guys right here are both going to come. Watch Priest Holmes step up and make the block. If you're going to come with the blitz, you got to get to the quarterback. And Trent Green has all the time in the world to look to his left and then come back to his right to find Dante Hall for the touchdown.
Harrison right, Wayne to the left. Two tight ends. And James on that stretch to the left has running room. 40 and to the sidelines and finally out of bounds at the 47. And a big gain by Edgerrin James. Mitchell and Woods finally got him out of bounds.
Nothing drives a defensive coordinator wilder than running backs who start inside and then are able to break contain and bust it to the outside. You spend all week on trying to not let this happen. But you saw the great block by Rick DeMulling, the left guard, and then it's the feet and the legs of Edgerrin James after that.
James now with 67 yards in the first half on only 9 carries. Manning wide open is Wayne, and Reggie Wayne another first down to the Kansas City 36. Working on Dexter McCleon.
Dick, I can't believe these two offenses are doing this. We both thought it was going to be a 6-3 ball game.
That was the fear that it would be.
Who would ever have thought that we'd be watching a track meet at Arrowhead between the Colts and the Chiefs?
Wayne, who played his high school ball in New Orleans, as did the man who threw in the ball, Archie Manning's son Peyton. Archie is here. Back to Edgerrin James, and he barrels down close to the 30-yard line.
Another good block out front there by Rick DeMulling. I think this Indianapolis offensive line might be maybe a little miffed that this Chiefs offensive line gets so much credit and so much publicity. Watch big number 64 coming right at you. You want a piece of this? No, I don't think so.
That was rude. Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Colts. He was the man who recruited Tony Dungy for the University of Minnesota many years ago. Now back together on the sidelines. Manning off the hands of Harrison, and usually when Marvin gets even one mid on it, it's a catch. Scott Fujita was covering for the Chiefs.
Looked like the pass was back behind Marvin. I don't. And here go the Colts trying to hurry it up. They're trying to catch Kansas City in a shift.
And they didn't get all their players off the field, and finally a timeout called by Kansas City.
Barely in time
To save a 5-yard penalty that would have given the Colts a first down.
Take a look. That's Sean Barber right there, and he is calling for timeout, and you can see the umpire grants him that timeout before Indianapolis was able to snap the ball. See, here's Barber right here. Yeah, he got the timeout. That was a good piece of work by the officiating crew and a smart play by Sean Barber.
He can count. There were 14 teammates out there. There's a 3rd down and 4 for Indianapolis. They have been tough in the playoffs. They were 6 for 8 on 3rd downs against Denver, and they're a perfect 3 for 3 in the first half today. 9 out of 11. Underneath to Stokely in the slot. He leans forward in the grasp of William Barty. It's going to be on the lean, a first down. So the Colts are 4 for 4 on 3rd down.
And again, it's Peyton Manning finding an open receiver, and Stokely's only 5'11". His knee was on the ground before he started the stretch with that football, but you know, it happened so quickly. He got the benefit of a pretty good spot.
Stokely, who played under his dad Nelson at Southwest Louisiana. Six minutes to go in the half. Manning pumping and going long down the middle to Pollard, complete to the 5-yard line. Tackled by Greg Wesley.
And again, you can see in this Kansas City secondary, people are getting left alone. And that's the story here with Marcus Pollard. Look at that good inside swim move that he put on Greg Wesley. Wesley finally able to get back, and Jerome Woods, the other safety, was so deep he wasn't even able to come up and be a factor in the play.
Pollard, who didn't play a down of football at Bradley, he was a forward on the basketball team. James has one touchdown today, and he slithers for a couple. 14-10, the Colts' third possession. The first two long drives to touchdown. They're trying to make it 3 for 3. Pollard having trouble with that left shoe. Played that down, one shoe on, one shoe off.
Well, he lost it on that completion down the middle of the field, and he hasn't been able to get it tied yet. Take a look at this. Hey, sometimes you got to play hurt, and sometimes you got to play without all your shoes. I'm sorry, but that's a little disconcerting when you don't have a shoe on.
Second and goal. Fake to James. The toss wide open. Touchdown Lipinski. Tom Lipinski, who didn't run the ball or catch a pass all season, gets a touchdown throw to him here in the playoffs.
Well, Lipinski, with the luck of the Irish, played his ball at Notre Dame, and why would the Kansas City? I guarantee you that Greg Robinson and his defensive unit didn't spend a lot of time wondering how are we going to defense number 36. As Dick said, nary a catch nor a run all season, and the fullback relatively wide open. And this Indianapolis offense so far, they've been as perfect as Peyton Manning was last week.
Where do you line up? Can I sign on?
The fleecing of America. That's all I can say.
Dante Hall wants to fleece the Colts defense. He gets help with a block in the back, but there's no flag, and he's out to the 31-yard line. Manning goes right back to his studies, always looking for some advantage, studying those Polaroids to see if they show what he thought he saw. Perfect rating, 158.3 throughout the playoffs. Reminder, stay tuned for the Nextel halftime report. Our guys back in New York will have a chance to chew on the significant offensive action of this first half. Neither team really has been stopped. Although the Chiefs down to the 3-yard line on their first possession had to settle for a field goal, and that explains 21-10. Here's their third possession, and Green fires to Gonzalez. First down at the 47. Well thrown again by Green over a defender immediately in front of the big tight end.
Well, how about Tony working the sidelines, not just the tight end who goes down the middle of the field. He starts, he fakes it the middle, and then he comes back to the outside and finds that hole. And you saw David Macklin, he slipped and fell, and Bashir is up front. So he's in the soft spot right between the two and makes a nice effort in getting back to a ball a little bit on his outside shoulder.
22 yards on the play. Fake to Holmes. Green all day. Now he goes long for Morton. Could be intercepted, and it goes incomplete in the end zone. Great shot for Walt Harris and David Macklin. They had just as good a chance as Morton to come up with the ball.
Well, this is a situation where David Macklin is going to stay with Johnny Morton because he knows he's got that safety help to the inside. And how many times do you see it where the safety is late coming over? But Walt Harris that time in a safety position, boy, did he make a nice adjustment, and oh so close to intercepting the ball. And you got to credit Johnny Morton, who actually pulls it out of Harris's hands.
Dangerous throw by Trent Green. 2nd and 10. Draw play. Holmes. 40. 35. First down. Quick little dozen yards for Priest Holmes. Bashir and Harper collaborate on the stop. 66 yards now, Dan, for Priest Holmes. You see, ranked first in total touchdowns with a 27. Somewhat modest when you consider the superstar status of Holmes in all those categories.
But keep in mind, the early part of this year was spent working his way back from hip surgery last season, so he wasn't full speed until just about now.
Gonzalez sets up at the 29, and a quick strike for Green for about 6+. Rob Morris has returned to the Colts lineup and makes the tackle. Morris, who played his college ball at BYU.
The pressure on this Kansas City offense is enormous, with Indianapolis being 3 for 3 on touchdown drives, and they are responding. They can't afford to punt the football, and so far in this first half they are really responding and moving the ball against the Colts.
I wonder who they're rooting for in New England. Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Which team do they want to invite to Foxborough? Green throwing for Gonzalez. Flag down. Gonzalez scores. Now let's see who the flag is against. Gonzalez used his hands.
Oh, I think it's against Kansas City.
Yeah, it looked as if he pushed off.
Pass interference, 88 offense, 10 yards, 15 second down.
Well, that would have been a foul in his other sport, basketball, as well.
Let's take a look at Tony Gonzalez. You see right at the line of scrimmage, he makes the good move, but that's the push. That is the push right there against Bashir. He gained separation from Bashir and got away from him.
And Bashir acting as though that was almost injurious, the push.
That was Marcus Spears getting a little excited on the Kansas City sideline, and now the crowd unhappy with the officiating crew, but that's a good call.
Chiefs second only to the Jets in least penalized team this year. And that one especially tough to digest for the folks here in Kansas City, because it's not only 10 yards back, but it cost them 6 points. 2nd and 12, back to Gonzalez. And he works the sidelines and is bumped out at the 29 by Walt Harris. That'll be 3rd and 4. It's an interesting contrast. We come down to the 2-minute timeout. These two quarterbacks, Manning, a superstar, University of Tennessee Heisman candidate, all that. Green, second to last drafted, 4 years. He didn't even take a snap in pro football, and here he is going to the Pro Bowl. I don't know if that act could have caused something that severe, but that looks to be fairly serious. 3rd down throw is short, incomplete, intended for Johnny Morton, as Green had to hurry the throw. And that'll mean 4th down and 4. Maybe out of the range of Morton Anderson, although Anderson is out on the field. He wants to kick it. What's Dick Vermeil's call?
Yeah, he's 2 yards out onto the field. Dick Vermeil is going to go for it on 4th down with his offensive unit.
We've not seen a punt in this entire half by either team. Anderson's longest this year is 49.
Well, I think it's Dick Vermeil saying it's a low percentage kick for Anderson.
Green has the 1st down. Dante Hall inside the 20. Another strong throw from Trent Green.
And I think the other factor in Dick Vermeil's decision is what the Colts have done every time they've had the football. Back to what I said earlier, I don't think field goals any longer figure into the equation for the Chiefs unless they run out of time here in the first half. They've got to play this game for touchdowns every time they have the ball.
And Dante Hall, who played at Texas A&M, he showed you his toughness, the little guy. He took a couple of good hits, hangs onto the ball, so the timeout was called by Indianapolis. So each team has 2. Green, good protection to the end zone to Hall. Incomplete. Had his hands on it, but Walt Harris there to make a good defensive play.
Oh, yeah, Walt Harris made an outstanding defensive play. Almost looked like he got his hand on the arm of Dante Hall and got in there with the hit. That was excellent. It's a great throw by Trent Green and a catchable ball. But Walt Harris provided pretty tight coverage that time on Dante Hall.
Priest Holmes back in, 2nd down and 10. They overload the left side with Hall in the slot. Kennison far left and Morton to the right. Pump to Morton, draw to Priest Holmes, breaks at 1 tackle, and then cannot elude David Macklin and Donald Strickland. A lot of work there for about 4 yards.
But so close to breaking a big one. And again, it just goes to show that just about any down is a running down for Kansas City.
Kansas City spends its second timeout.
Take a look. All of a sudden, here goes Priest Holmes back to the outside. A tremendous stiff arm. But again, Donald Strickland is the guy that coming from the inside got around the legs. It was cleanup by Macklin, but the heavy lifting that time was done by rookie Donald Strickland.
And speaking of heavy lifting, Priest Holmes, you saw Marcus Allen's report on the pregame show about his father, Master Sergeant Herman, who left just a week ago from Fort Hood over to Iraq for at least 6 months, probably a year. And Priest very much his mind on his dad, and in fact his mom Norma. They've got her here. They're going to keep her busy while Dad is in Iraq representing this great country.
I saw that both these teams within a yard of each other in total offense.
3rd down and 5. Green, a quick throw, and it's dropped by Morton. Tried to run before he had caught it. He was open and had the first down.
Easily had the first down. Every mistake in a game like this is magnified.
That was right at the sticks, the 8-yard line when the ball arrived. And Macklin wasn't that close to him. So out comes Morton Anderson with 1:09 left in the half. So Peyton Manning and the Colts are going to have some time to work.
And I think this is at 4th and 5. This is a good call by Dick. Go ahead and take your 3 points.
He missed it to the left.
Geez, 2 veterans let Dick Vermeil down on the last 2 plays. Johnny Morton, a 10-year guy, and then Morton Anderson, a 22-year guy. Both failed Dick Vermeil in the last 2 plays. He just pushes it off to the left.
Yeah, we saw last night in the Rams-Carolina game how important field goals play.
That's crushing. Oh, that's crushing to a head coach, because Dick's aware that to get into the scoring position like that, to be down there and come away with absolutely nothing, that psychologically that's a wound.
Yeah, 21-13. You're still a touchdown away. Right. A touchdown and a 2.
Yeah, that's a wound he'll have to address at halftime. Not to mention the fact. Here comes Manning with 1 minute and 5 seconds.
And 2 timeouts. Fakes to James. And they sack him for the first time. Cal Trueluck with John Browning there first. A rare sack of Manning, who was only down 18 times all season.
Well, Trueluck that time is working against left tackle Tariq Glenn, but it wasn't Glenn's fault. Trueluck just going upfield, and Manning trying to scramble out to his left, runs right into him.
And now Manning and the Colts showing no urgency at all to try to move the ball after that sack. But you better watch Harrison on every play. He's down to the right. Back to Edgerrin James, and he's tackled in the backfield.
Oh, did somebody fall on Marcus Pollard's leg?
Gary Stills and Trueluck in on the stop.
Ooh, Marcus Pollard, the tight end, is down on the ground. Looked like somebody fell on his leg at the end of that play. Let's watch number 81 as he's trying to work against Gary Stills, the defensive end. Watch here at the very end. Yes, you could see right there at the end.
Ryan Sims.
Looked like Ryan Sims, yeah, number 90. Watch the lower left of your screen. Oh, there's Sims, who falls right on the right leg of Marcus Pollard, and he had it caught underneath and couldn't get it out.
Able to walk off under his own power. Final timeout spent by Kansas City with 16 seconds showing. Yeah, that's been the real Achilles heel in the playoffs for Kansas City, missing field goals.
And both of those teams, keep in mind, in the regular season, 13-3.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
13-3 again for Kansas City as Manning takes a knee, and that'll do it for this first half. Again, neither team forced a punt. Morton Anderson head down a bit. He won't fail on many 31-yard attempts.
Well, at least the Chiefs defense can go, well, at least there was one Indianapolis possession where they didn't score.
So there it is at halftime, 21-10 as we go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Tony Dungy, your players.
Manning, who's perfect.
158.3. You can't get a higher rating than that. Manning has it for the 6 quarters of the playoffs as Vanderjagt kicks it off, and we're underway in the second half. A good kick this time, down to Hall at the 5-yard line. Hall to the far sideline at the 25, and gathered up just shy of the 30-yard line by Donald Strickland, who's been all over the field for the Colts today. Now take a look at the Chiefs stars on offense. Green, as Dan pointed out, 133 yards, a touchdown. On the ground, Priest Holmes working on a possible 150-yard day. He gets 71 rushing, and Tony Gonzalez 4 catches for 55, and because of a push-off, he missed the long touchdown pass that factors rather strongly at this point.
And that missed field goal at the bottom would have made it a 1-possession game with a touchdown and a successful 2-point conversion.
Green, play action fake, and throws to the sidelines to Hall, almost intercepted, then almost caught. It was Nick Harper who got one hand on it and deflected it. Hall had a shot, couldn't pull it in. Let's go to Bonnie.
Well, Dick, Dan is exactly right. Dick Vermeil has nothing to be ashamed of concerning offense and Trent Green. He said, we played well. We've had more plays than Indy, but the problem is when you drop passes in the red zone, you can't put 6 on the board. Asking him about whether he was surprised about whether Anderson made or missed that field goal, he said because of his age, we didn't go for the longer field goal earlier in that drive. It's just one of those things that happens.
Thank you, Bonnie. Second down. And the give is to Holmes. Breaks into the clear. One man to beat. And he fumbles the ball. It's up for grabs at the 22, and the Colts say they have it. They do. A long run, the longest of the game, and Holmes trying to get more, and Harris and Macklin converged on the tackle, jarred it free, and the Colts come up with a turnover. Macklin recovered the ball.
Walt Harris gets a gold star because Priest Holmes, behind unbelievable blocking, is never touched. He gets away from Strickland, but watch the left of your screen. There comes Walt Harris, and as Priest Holmes almost turns around backwards to fight off Walt Harris, Macklin comes in and knocks out the ball. Macklin comes in and puts his right hand right between the body and the left arm of Priest Holmes. Holmes was so preoccupied with Harris, he didn't sense Macklin being there.
Well, Macklin, the forced fumble and the recovery at the 22-yard line. A big play on the turnover, and Manning throws. That's up for possible grabs, incomplete. He got rid of it as Marcus Pollard was the intended target. But Manning throwing under considerable pressure.
Yeah, I would call this considerable pressure. He gets dumped big time. Watch the hit he takes right there on the blitz coming in, Jerome Woods.
And Marcus Pollard, who was in that pattern, was injured at the end of the first half, limped off.
That's taking care of the football, folks. 410 touches and only 2 fumbles. Sometimes life just doesn't seem fair when after an effort like that it ends up in a turnover.
48-yard run, but now it's James with a big hole. And he has a first down and more out across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Dexter McLeon and Sean Barber team up on the tackle.
Well, right now for Kansas City defensively, it's all about adjustments. It's all about what Greg Robinson and Dick Vermeil talked about, what scheme changes they have to make here in this second half to somehow, they're going to have to gamble. Greg Robinson's going to have to take chances because what they were doing in the first half, his team wasn't able to execute it.
It doesn't start well in the second half, although there's a good stop on the run as James is covered by John Browning and company. James with 90 yards rushing now in the game. The best in the league in the turnover differential, the Chiefs, and of course Dick Vermeil preaches that sermon every day.
And look at the bottom. Yes, they're all playoff teams.
The Colts at +10, not bad either, and they have the first turnover of this game. A lot of this is show dressing, just trying to make the defense think you're changing a call or making one. Manning to the sideline, almost intercepted by Eric Warfield, intended for Harrison.
Well, Eric Warfield's taken the inside. He's taken the inside position, and look how he anticipates Marvin Harrison stopping his pattern. How does he anticipate it? By having his right arm on Harrison's chest, and almost pulls himself back into position. You know what? Sometimes you draw the flag, sometimes you don't.
That draws the crowd enthusiasm up a notch. Throw over the middle, complete. Stokely over the middle has the ball, and it's right at the sticks, first down.
Without pressure on Peyton Manning, 9 times out of 10 in this game, he's going to find an open receiver because things just aren't tight enough in the Kansas City secondary.
Look at
in the zone. Yep, they're working in the zone. And Stokely getting a lot of freedom when you got Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne working the outside. Brandon Stokely gets a lot of room in the middle.
See, Arkel Trulock, the defensive end, was 20 yards back on pass defense on that play. Another third down conversion on 3rd and 8. James waits for a block and then fights his way to the Kansas City 45-yard line, and a gain of about 7. Well, it is a team at the 3 skill positions when you have Manning, who was voted the All-Pro quarterback and co-MVP with McNair of Tennessee at that position. You got Marvin Harrison. There's just not many better than Marvin. And then you got James running the football.
And factor in Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, in his 6th year. That unit has been together for 5 years. That's why they're so confident in a hostile environment like Arrowhead. Nothing rattles them.
No false starts. Nothing. No penalties against the Colts. And here comes James. Oh, that's Dominic Rhodes. I was going to say, looked like he had a little more burst there, and William Barty makes the stop. Another first down. Rhodes, who had over 1,000 yards rushing when James was hurt 2 years ago.
Watch to the left of your screen right there. Jeff Saturday, number 63. He gets into Scott Fujita and knocks him. This is a Kansas City defense right now that is completely unsure of itself, completely on its heels. And Dominique Rhodes just finishes it off, but he's the beneficiary of awesome execution by his offensive mates.
Fake to Rhodes. Manning throws, complete. Reggie Wayne down to the 21-yard line, and a gain of 9 more. Monteek Sharp back to make the tackle.
Well, you can see that down the stretch, the Kansas City Chiefs defensively have faltered. Tremendous increases in points per game. The record was only 4-3. The takeaways way down. And right now, this defense, it almost looks like they have to get lucky to stop the Colts.
Rhodes stays in a tailback. Manning down to 2 on the clock. Gets it off. Throws toward the end zone. Almost intercepted by Warfield. He had a shot at it. Harrison the target.
Well, there's a quarterback throwing who's just got a lot of confidence. Because under no circumstances was Marvin Harrison open. Eric Warfield is all over him and actually has a much better play on the football than does Marvin Harrison. Warfield actually has the ball right there. It hits him and bounces right off his chest. Now, he may have been looking right back into the sun. That could have been a real factor on that play.
3rd and 1, and James returns. They're 5 for 6. The Colts on 3rd down conversions. And hit in the backfield. They don't do it this time. Sean Barber, the veteran linebacker, shot through to make the tackle. He beat Tariq Glenn at tackle.
Well, he's actually coming off the edge, and actually Brandon Stokely, the wide receiver, is trying to block down on Barber, but he was split out too wide. They weren't counting, and give Greg Robinson credit. He sent Barber upfield, and he made the play.
And here comes Mike Vanderjagt. 41 consecutive field goals, a new NFL record. This is a considerable distance, just outside 45 yards. Look at this. Plenty of distance right down the middle.
And what a great placement by Hunter Smith on an errant snap.
It's hot. There's the kickoff by Vanderjagt to Dante Hall. Fans hoping he can break one. He's got some room this time. 35, 40, 44-yard line. Jason Doring made a saving tackle. 9:17 left.
Ball ends up on the ground, but boy, does he do a good job of getting it back, placed and upright for Mike Vanderjagt.
Green on first down. Throws to this side, wide open. Morton, he dropped another one. It was Morton who dropped a sure first down pass inside the 10 at the end of the first half that proved to be costly because Morton Anderson then missed a field goal.
Boy, mistakes, they are killing us. I'm sure that's what Dick Vermeil is saying right now. And they've been mistakes by his veteran players. Johnny Morton with his drop. Then it's a missed field goal by Morton Anderson, who's older than Methuselah. And then this by Priest Holmes. The effort was there, just an unfortunate turnover.
Here comes Holmes. And he breaks through on the draw all the way to the 30-yard line, a 25-yard run before Thornton and Macklin can get him.
Well, that's one way to make sure that they forget quickly that Morton dropped a pass. Come right back with a 25-yarder, and look at that blocking. Not even challenged until he's downfield, and that by Donald Strickland, and he makes him miss.
Priest Holmes, all he has done in 2.5 quarters is gain 143 yards on just 15 carries. He's not getting it enough, so they go right back to Holmes. Shreds one tackler, runs through another, and he's inside the 25. He's an interesting combination of speed and power, 5'9", so there's not a lot to grab, and he weighs 213. Out of San Antonio, where his high school team state champions, and he played behind Ricky Williams, not well known at the University of Texas. Williams, of course, went on to win the Heisman.
And what a recovery he has made from that hip surgery that made him, that hip injury rather, that made him lose the last 2 games of last season. Pretty spectacular. What do you have, 1,600 yards last year when he got hurt?
In 14 games. Yeah. Here he comes. He loves to run around this right side. Stays in bounds. And now 3 Colts corral him after a first down at the 15. Williams, Washington, and Thornton.
Well, we've talked before about this tremendous offensive line, and 2 guys who really got a job done there was Tony Gonzalez at tight end and Jason Dunn. See, there's Jason Dunn and Gonzalez. They're doing a double team. Gonzalez comes off the double team and buries Mike Doss, the strong safety. So Dunn and Gonzalez get credit there for some good blocks.
Green sets up, dumps it over the middle, complete. And it's Derek Blaylock in for Holmes, and he crashes inside the 5-yard line. Morris and Washington make the stop. Blaylock, good spot player. He's almost the same size, 5'9", 205 as Holmes.
Well, now what's critical for the Chiefs, Dick, they got to close the deal. They've been down here before and have settled for field goals or field goal attempts that were missed. They have to finish the deal.
Well, here's a man who's done it 27 times this year, Priest Holmes. He gets the handoff. Not much of a hole. It closes in a hurry. Donald Strickland along with Chad Bratsky, the defensive end.
Yeah, I know this sounds silly, but you look at that clock running, and if Kansas City, the clock running isn't all that bad a thing, because at least they're keeping Peyton Manning and the offense off the field. If they're going to score touchdowns, at least do it on some drives that take up a little time, because they're going to be right back in this thing 24-17 if they can get it across the goal line.
2nd and goal. Holmes up the middle, trip, gets to the goal line but not in. He's marked at the half-yard line. Corey Bird, an extra defensive back, coming up from a safety spot to help out Larry Triplett.
Well, it looked like that Holmes would have been in easily if he doesn't trip. He stumbles. It looked like he tripped over the legs of Willie Roaf.
162 yards, a Kansas City rushing record in the playoffs. Barry Ward had 130 against the Raiders in 91. 3rd and goal. Holmes, touchdown.
Well, once again, the Kansas City offense really responded with a drive when they needed it. They were down 14-3 and responded with a touchdown drive that made it 14-10, and now down 24-10. If this is a good extra point, they've crawled right back in it again.
All set up by Dante Hall's fine kickoff return out to the 45 for Kansas City. Gordon Anderson hits the extra point. 55 yards. It took 8 plays in almost 4 minutes, and Holmes with a leap into the end zone. Dick Vermeil's team.
Priest Holmes sitting on the sidelines like he was in New England last night. It's over 50 degrees outside, and he looks like it's below 0.
Maybe he thinks he's dressing early for next week as Dominic Rhodes brings it back the other way, has some room, and crosses the 35-yard line and is met by a sea of red. Monty Beisel leads the way. You be the head linesman. You call it.
I call this up.
Marcus Pollard in the slot. Manning has to dump this one off, complete to Pollard, and a first down at midfield. Jerome Woods, on his way to his first Pro Bowl, made the stop.
Boy, how good a pass was that by Manning, right over the linebacker with pressure right in his face. It's from a defensive. Do you blitz him? Yeah, let's try to blitz him. Oh, he'll burn us. Well, let's not blitz him. Well, he'll just stand back there and pick us apart. Talk about a guy, Dick, on top of his game.
Edgerrin James, who compliments Manning's passing game. Greg Wesley makes the stop at the Chiefs 48. Well, there they are. No punts in the game. Either team. That has never happened for a full postseason game. There was a game back in '82. The Cardinals and Green Bay. 1 punt. You played in that one, Dan.
Yeah, well, the only reason we didn't punt is because we kept turning the ball over.
Bad.
It wasn't because we scored 50 points.
On 2nd and 7, the quick throw complete to Reggie Wayne, and he has another Indianapolis first down at the 41. Wayne, who played with Santana Moss at the University of Miami, and of course was a teammate of Edgerrin James.
Working both sides of the field, working the middle, the Pollard, the outsides with James. I'll tell you something, Tom Moore is another guy on top of his game right now. This offensive coordinator, he's a crusty old son of a gun, but he is sharp and he's got the tools to have a lot of fun calling a game.
We saw him on the sidelines. Chuck Knowles, great Pittsburgh teams, and it's Wayne again. Looked to be almost the same pattern, and it works for another 14-15. Dexter McCleon with a tackle. Wayne compliments Harrison. He had 68 catches in his breakout year this season, 3rd in the league. Diehard Saints fan growing up. He loved Eric Martin. He said, boy, he could catch a BB in the dark. That's what I want to do.
I got shot in the butt with a BB gun one time.
In the dark?
No, but it hurt nonetheless.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
James inside the 25. Gain of 3 or 4 into Kawika Mitchell. Well, you can see why CBS Monday is America's best night of television. That terrific lineup. Everybody loves Raymond, Emmy Award winning, and hot show CSI Miami. Followed the late news, late show with David Letterman, all on CBS tomorrow night, Monday night, America's most watched network. James now has hit the century mark, so both Priest Holmes and Edgerrin James 100 yards rushing. Wide open is Harrison. Short pattern to the 20, short of the first down. Scott Fujita wrestles him down.
Well, Greg Robinson that time came with a blitz. He challenged Manning, but Manning and Harrison read it immediately and got the quick pass.
3rd down and 2. Manning takes his time.
Yeah, there's still 20 seconds on the play clock. He gets his team up there so early, he's got all the time in the world to do this.
Resets his formation. Makes sure that James knows the call. And throws deep for Wayne. Touchdown! Oh my! How good is the Colts good?
Well, Peyton Manning, when he is up at the line of scrimmage with 22 or 23 seconds left on the play clock, gets all that time to get the defense to show him what they're going to do. It's so hard for the defense to stay in a position and not give an inkling by a safety taking a step forward, or maybe a linebacker who's going to come on a blitz to maybe lean a little bit or take that one false step towards the line of scrimmage. And Peyton Manning puts a defense in a terrible position by making them hold their water, so to speak, by just sitting there and sitting there. And he is just literally carving the Chiefs to shreds.
Vanderjagt with the extra point. Another long drive for Indianapolis. 64 yards, 7 plays. Wayne 19 yards down to 139.5.
Well, the rating that counts is 31.
Unstoppable, as the Broncos learned last week in Indianapolis. Here comes Dante Hall. 40. Got a chance to go. 50. Vanderjagt to beat. Touchdown, Dante Hall. 92 yards, and they're going crazy. There's your X factor, Dan.
4 kick returns for touchdowns during the regular season. Weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5. It has been a dry spell until now.
Boy, the timing on his cuts. Morton Anderson. And the Chiefs, after watching Manning chew up the yards and another touchdown, answer with an electric strike from Dante Hall. 92 big ones for a touchdown.
And keep in mind, down the stretch in the regular season, the Colts gave up 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. One versus the Jets, one against the Patriots. And the kickoff coverage team for the Indianapolis Colts is leaking oil. And Dick Vermeil, we're back in it one more time.
67-year-old Vermeil, like everyone else here, became a kid during that return. He was treated, Dick Vermeil, earlier this week. We were there Friday when his wife Carol brought in a very expensive sports car. Dick grew up in the Napa Valley. And his dad was a mechanic. He worked with cars as a kid. He said he always wanted to be a race driver. Ooh, he's got something that has a little...
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Dick Vermeil can only hope that his sports car can corner and accelerate like Dante Hall. He can only hope. And I don't know what kind of gas mileage Dante Hall is getting right now. But that was, talk about much needed tonic for what ails you.
Oh, it's the Colts now stunned, and will that be the turning point for the Chiefs to catch up? Kansas City has never rallied from a deficit of more than 10 points.
Well, Tony Dungy has to be crazy with his kickoff coverage. I mean, they really struggled with this down the stretch in week 11 and week 13.
Good kick all the way to the goal line. Dominic Rhodes trying to answer when he doesn't make it to the 20.
Well, if the Kansas City defense doesn't get fired up now, it's time to pronounce them dead.
Clint Finley with a tackle, and Monty Beisel.
If we don't see some kind of a stand out of Kansas City's defense right now, unplug the respirator.
They need to get Hunter Smith on the field, which they've not been able to do. Make a stop. We mentioned in the postseason, the Chiefs twice rallied from 10 points down at the half. They're trying to come back from 24 in this one. Edgerrin James stumbles, makes it to the 21. A gain of 2. Sean Barber. A very valued pickup as an unrestricted free agent after a year in Philadelphia and 4 years in Washington. Made the tackle.
I don't know if you like pro football or not, but folks, to be in this stadium right now is thrilling. Just listen to this crowd.
Manning over the middle, incomplete to Stokely. Third and long, final minute of the third. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
Dick, everybody in the stadium is revved up, and so is Bonnie Holiday before the defense went back on the field. He reminded them that they were down by 17 points and came back in the fourth quarter to beat Green Bay. He said, "We've been here before. We could do it again."
Thanks, Bonnie. You saw the flag go down as Manning and the Colts went to the quick count on that one, and did they trap an extra Chiefs player on the field? They made the stop. Jerry Austin with the call.
There was no substitution by the offense. 12 men on the defense. 5 yards. Repeat, third down.
Oh, Manning alertly seeing a defensive change made by the Chiefs. Went to the quick count and caught them with too many men on the field. So they don't have to punt. That's as close as the Colts have come. $79,000 strong working on behalf of the Chiefs defense. Quick throw to Wayne. He's open again. Easily a first down and out to the 42-yard line. Eric Hicks, trailing the play, made the tackle on the final play of the third quarter. And what a quarter that was. After 3, Colts 31, Chiefs 24. Back after a message and a word from your local station. Chiefs nearly with a stop, but that 5-yard, too many men on the field penalty kept it alive for the Colts. Manning down the middle to Harrison is wide open at the 31-yard line. Greg Wesley was the closest red jersey, and he was 5 yards away.
Wow, if there's been a recurring theme, it has been Colts receivers wide open in the Chiefs secondary. And Marvin Harrison is even able to react to a pass that's thrown back behind him. He's so wide open, he can come to a complete stop and go back for a ball.
James toppled after a yard gained at the 30-yard line. Barber down low for the tackle.
Now, in that last pass completion, I once again feel like I've got to pass along credit to the offensive line of the Colts. They were just giving Peyton Manning again a perfect pocket with a good look up the passing lanes downfield.
Glenn DeMulling, Pico, Saturday, and Dean. Quick throw to Harrison, and he's hit immediately at the 25. A short gain of 5. It'll be third down and 4.5.
This is not the favorite pattern of Marvin Harrison, running that quick slant across the middle where he's exposing what is one of the NFL's more slender frames to some big linebackers.
He'd be one of the few guys in the league that might really be described as frail looking. But boy, what a player, and those great speed in and out of the cuts, as you could see, always seems to be open. Quick toss, complete to Stokely over the middle, and he has a first down inside the Chiefs 15. Barty drags him down.
Well, the corner blitz, and Manning reacts to it so quickly by going right to the area vacated by the blitz. Stokely correctly reads the blitz, breaks off his pattern, and runs a short slant that Peyton hits him with the football. It's just perfect execution of a blitz and how to handle it between quarterback and receiver.
And the Colts continue to cook on third down. 6 for 8 last week. They're 8 for 10 today.
Telling you right now, there's a defensive team sitting back in Denver watching this game going, hey, I know what they feel like.
Safety blitz. Manning cooks it again. Hits his tight end, Joe Dean Davenport. A rare throw to Davenport, who had only 3 catches all season, but he was the man open. And Manning knows how to find him.
Tom Moore, he's got it all going. And right now, Greg Robinson of the Chiefs, he's got to be scratching his head going, I'm not sure what to call. I blitz him, it doesn't work. I don't blitz him, it doesn't work.
Second down and short. James, is it his turn? Yes. And he fights down to the 1 yard line. It'll be first and goal. 4 shots from the 1 for the Colts. You know, the frustration there you can see in the face of Robinson, Dan, and with these fans who have done everything they can to help their team, but the Colts are unstoppable. No mistakes by Indianapolis, no punts. Every time they've had the ball, they've scored. James plows into the end zone for a touchdown.
I'm sure Dick and Greg are just baffled. Yes, this Chiefs defense has given up a lot of yards during the course of the season. They're ranked 29th overall. That's based on yardage, but their points allowed per game was much better than that. And the word on the Chiefs was they play so much better at Arrowhead, that they are a completely different defensive team at Arrowhead. And I don't think anybody saw this coming. I mean, we knew how good Indianapolis was going to be in the way they were coming off that game last week, but who could ever see domination like this?
Vanderjagt tacks on the extra point. It was another long one. 81 yards, 10 plays, 14-point lead. 6-yard line. Up the middle. And they kind of baited him to go that way. He saw a hole, but it closed quickly, and he's tackled at the 24. Well, this is a sports doubleheader day on CBS, so stay tuned. After our football action, it's number 6 Oklahoma. They're unbeaten against number 1 ranked UConn Huskies, or some of you will see Big Ten action as the Hoosiers go to Ann Arbor to play the Wolverines. Check your local listings for the game in your area to follow this playoff contest from Kansas City. Now 11:07 left, and Trent Green in the Kansas City offense. Green, how quiet the crowd is when they have the ball. To the sideline, and Kennison has it knocked away.
The only thing I would say about Kansas City's offense is that there is still time to run Priest Holmes. That with over 11 minutes left here in the fourth quarter and down by 14, you can't abandon Priest Holmes. He is your best weapon, and the play action that ensues from him running the ball, your second best weapon. So don't go away from him.
And that draw play has been effective on second and long. Tony Richardson in to block for him. There is the draw, but into a crowd, and he's able to burrow for 4, maybe 5. Washington and Thornton, the 2 outside backers, knife in for the tackle.
There's Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator for the Colts. It's his second year on the job. Works it from the sidelines, likes to talk to his players when they come off the field. And his task has been rather daunting as well, looking at this Kansas City offense.
3rd down and 6 for Green. Steps up, and he's caught from behind. A flag is down, thrown in the secondary. Monte Rager, who's played solidly in the center of that defense. Remember, he had his eye injured in the first half, has returned. And the preliminary signal is it's against the Colts.
Holding 25 of the defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Well, but not for the hold. They would be punting for the first time.
Can you spell big? Nick Harper gets called. He's working on the slot. This is him right here in the middle. And he had the hold on more than 5 yards downfield. And but that's, you talk about BIG for Kansas City.
First penalty of the game for the Colts. And the officials have let him play. Move it out to near the 34-yard line with 10 minutes 12 seconds left.
You know, Dick, good football teams are supposed to be able to play the game without a lot of penalties. That's why they're good.
And yet, each season there'll always be one team that most penalized, and they're right there too. So
quarterback scramble, that makes it a running play. The enforcement of a penalty on a running play should be from the end of the run. There will be 3 additional yards.
Well, Jerry Austin with a good explanation. Every yard counts.
1st and 10 from the 37.
That's a good job of using a field mic by a referee. You just can't pick the ball up and move it 3 yards without I'm feeling kind of good about it. They're behind. We'll give them 3 more. Doesn't work like that.
There's a typical Kansas City shift, moving Gonzalez to the right side. Give to Holmes, runs away from trouble, gets out of bounds at the 38-yard line. A gain of a couple. Marcus Washington, the linebacker from Auburn, made the play. Well, this is a Tony Dungy defense that was really in need of being rebuilt. They were not good last year. They've certainly gotten better this season, and he'll continue in that direction. And Dungy, of course, the masterminding of that Tampa Bay Bucks defense that's played so well even since he left. Figure things are all moving in the positive direction in the capital city of Indiana. Green dumps it off to Holmes, and he's tackled right at the sticks by David Thornton. We were looking at Dan, at the receivers there. Holmes leads the Chiefs with 74 catches, and Edgerrin James has 51. That's 125 catches between the two guys.
And there's one glaring stat that jumps out at you. Not a touchdown reception between the two of them.
Hard to do.
No, that is hard. I asked Priest Holmes the other day. I said, Priest, how do you catch 74 passes and not score with at least one of them?
He didn't have an answer. And it's like a false start.
And you know, when you keep in mind that he set the total touchdown record at 27, and every single one of them was rushing. He beat Marshall Faulk's record that was a combination of both rushing and receiving.
False start, 62 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Casey Wegman, the center, must have moved the ball.
He's protesting that I really didn't wiggle, but yeah, you see that little flex.
He was saying Larry Triplett did a little head fake on me.
I think every team in the league complains about the other team's center getting away with a lot of head bobbing and shoulder twitching and moving in an attempt to try to get the defense to jump.
So from 3rd and a short one to 3rd and 6. And Green fires to this side, overshoots his mark, looking for Morton. So out comes the punting team, and this is the first punt of the game, and the fans don't like it.
Well, Dick Vermeil has to hope that you have to punt it in this situation. If it just wasn't for the fact that his defense has shown no ability at all to stop Indianapolis. But with 8.5 minutes left in the game, the book says you have to punt.
Otherwise, you give the Colts a very short field. The line of scrimmage is the 42. Vermeil and the Chiefs going to talk it over, though. 8.5 minutes to go. I mean, all logic would say you got to punt the ball, but Green looking for 6+ down the middle. He got it.
Kennison, first down at the 40.
Kudos to the Chiefs and Dick Vermeil. But that really is saying if we give them the ball one more time, we're out of the game. And what a pressure-packed throw and catch from Trent Green to Eddie Kennison.
19 yards. Well, I guess a good offense is a good defense. And he skips this one to Dante Hall. Trying to throw low to Hall, and one hopper. A reminder tonight on CBS, it's the People's Choice Awards. You can vote for your favorite stars in movies, music, and TV at CBS.com. And Charlie Sheen and John Cryer host the People's Choice Awards live tonight at 9/8 Central here on CBS. Two of the nicest guys in the coaching profession. I mean, there are a lot of nice, but these two are just such terrific men to be with calling a game. They're so cooperative. Green slides on. Ooh, as he popped hard at the 35, and fans want a penalty. But apparently it was judged that the Colts were in position to make a move on the tackle before Green went down.
Yeah, they're arguing that Green got hit, but let's be realistic. If you're in the air and the quarterback slides, and that's exactly the situation there. You take a look at Brackett right there. He's already in the air. He's already left his feet. And yes, their helmets did collide, but keep in mind that he's a runner at that situation, and a tackle, if your helmets collide, it's just part of the game.
3rd and 5. There's the first down pickup as he goes to Tony Richardson, the fullback. First catch for Richardson today. He's on his way to Honolulu for the first time. And the clock runs under 7 minutes to go. Ball at the 25. Green again. Holmes underneath. Grabbed by an ankle. David Thornton has had a solid season. This second-year backer from North Carolina. Free agent.
And no huddle here by the Chiefs, and that's a smart move as his clock moves under 6.5.
Green again. Underneath. In the middle of the field open. This time Priest Holmes. First down inside the 15. Clock runs. And the fans now trying to help out Dick Vermeil. They're trying to say, get it going, no huddle. They're so savvy. They really are terrifically well-educated fans here. Draw. Holmes. Caught from behind at about the 7. Nice hustle by Robert Mathis, the Alabama A&M rookie. Derek Blaylock in for Holmes. 5:43 to go. Holmes with 175 yards rushing. He's done his part. Did have that one costly fumble. Blaylock caught in the backfield. Brad Scioli, the veteran from Penn State, and Chad Bratsky getting some work on that defensive line.
The crowd mumbling a little bit about that call in particular to Blaylock, but you still have to run the football. It's just this crowd would rather see number 31 being the guy running the football.
He's back in. Ticking down to the 5-minute mark.
And the Colts had to take a timeout as one of their guys was trying to get off the field. If they'd have snapped it, they'd have had 12 on the field.
And one wonders if they score here. Is an onside kick coming?
Well,
it's Holmes.
You got to think about it.
And he has 1 touchdown. He has 2 touchdowns. 27, an all-time mark in the regular season, and 2 here today. So he pulls Kansas City if they make the extra point within 7. Do you kick it to Indianapolis?
No, I think why not gamble all the way and go for the onside kick? The Kansas City defense has not stopped the Indianapolis Colts yet this game, other than the last possession of the first half when time ran out. You could not fault Dick Vermeil whatsoever if he decided to go ahead and go for the onside kick.
Morton Anderson adds the extra point. 76 yards. Go the Chiefs, convert on 2 4th downs and pull within 7. 4:22 left.
This defense has not stopped the Indianapolis Colts once today.
And so they line up as if they're going to onside it to the right side. Dominic Rhodes creeps up. He's the only deep man now for the Colts. And now they shift the other way. 4:22 left plus 2 timeouts for both teams. And now the Colts, no, the Chiefs are going to spend 1 timeout. Kansas City, they point.
This is so against the coach's instinct to even think about onside kicking in this position, but yet you've got to take into consideration they just haven't even come close to stopping the Colts yet today. You know, Dick, a perfect scenario for Dick Vermeil, onside kick.
use every second, score a touchdown on the last play of regulation to tie it, go to overtime, win the toss, and then drive down and win it. And in that way, Peyton Manning never gets back on the field again. How's that for a wish list?
Indianapolis was recognized first, and Indianapolis is charged with a timeout. That is their second. They have one remaining.
Oh, both teams trying to call timeout. Tony Dungy loses one. He has one remaining. Kansas City 2. I think Dungy himself was surprised to see the Chiefs shift into that onside kick formation.
Well, certainly a big break for Kansas City that they're able to save a timeout by the Colts being honored first by Jerry Austin's crew. That timeout might come in very handy for the boys in red.
But you think what a compliment this is. As much as it is to the defense of the Chiefs, unable to stop anyone. There you see the success, 21% in the league in the regular season.
Dick Vermeil, a big statistic guy, you know, he knows that by heart. That's a 1 in 5 chance of recovering an onside kick.
Rams recovered one last night. The kicker himself, Wilkins, got it. He's going to kick it deep.
He's going to ask his defense to do something they haven't done all day.
Dominic Rhodes. And the Chiefs very high on that turnover differential. The best in the league, plus 19, have been unable to force a fumble or an interception today. And of course, moving on to a week from today, 3 o'clock Eastern time, 12 in the West. It'll be either the Colts or the Chiefs at New England, and Jim Nance, Marino, Sanders, Boomer will be there 2 o'clock on NFL Today to set the table. What a game. It has never, again, ladies and gentlemen, it has never happened in the entire history of the NFL playoffs that both teams have not punted. It's happened today so far. Will the Chiefs, uncharacteristically, be able to stop Manning and the Colts and make them punt? James on the edge. Grabbed by Browning after a gain of about 4.
This is where every member of the Colts offense is in the huddle saying no penalties. We can't get called for holding. We can't false start. We can't hurt ourselves. Because you almost get the hit that that's the kind of help that the Chiefs are going to need defensively for the Colts to make a mistake. And today on offense, they've made very few.
And James, look at that. He got 5 on first down. Eye contact between Manning and Harrison, and then Manning pulls up and throws the lob complete to James, and he has a first down at the 45 and stays in bounds, and the clock runs at the 3:20 mark.
But we're back to the Chiefs' inability to mount any pass rush at all. Look at Peyton Manning, stand there, stand there, stand there, and then just lob a perfect little pass over the top of Scott Fujita right to Edgerrin James. Look at that ball. That's more like a basketball toss to a post player right up by the basket than it is a pass, but it was perfect.
Manning 22 for 30 in the game. He's over the 300-yard mark and works the clock now. James, big hole. 8 yards, and James almost toying with the defense of the Chiefs. Protecting the ball. He's not going to take any chance on a hit, knocking it free. Still gets 8. And Robinson and the Chiefs wanted to use a timeout. No one's called one yet.
Life is a bowl of cherries with 8 yards, almost 9 yards on first down.
121 yards for James. What a compliment to the Manning passing game. Working toward the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah,
Kansas City has 2 timeouts.
And they don't have to run a play. They're not going to do it.
Boy, they let 30 seconds run off there where they could have called time. Robinson seemed to be giving the signal, and Manning's got that knowing smile. 2 minutes to go. Second and short. James, second effort, lunges for a first down at the 35. And Kansas City's going to have to spend a timeout pretty soon.
Oh, they had him stopped, Dick. Peyton, Edgerrin James was stopped well short of the first down, and in second effort somehow
kept him from going down, and his legs kept driving. The Chiefs had him.
Well, now they're at the very limits are the Chiefs with only one timeout and only 1:48 left. And you know Manning will use every second of each play clock.
Well, we talked about what Indy has done today. Right off the bat, Brandon Stokely wide open, untouched until the 1-yard line, goes Edgerrin James. Then we're back when their fullback Lipinski gets his first touch of the year. Reggie Wayne gets in on the action. Edgerrin James again, but there is the guy. Rarely do you ever see anyone in as complete control of the situation, Dick, in one of the most hostile environments in this league. Arrowhead Stadium. Peyton Manning looked like he was sunning himself sipping lemonade on the beach somewhere.
He has his own studio at home. He takes home all the game tapes. As we said earlier, looked at every one of Kansas City games in the course of the regular season and the game played here 2 years ago, and basically knew in every formation where the Chiefs should line up, and if they didn't, he knew where to throw the ball. Remarkable effort by these Colts again, back to back without using a punter. Denver and now here in Kansas City. Dominic Rhodes for a couple of yards, and Kansas City has now used its complement of timeouts. And we remind you tonight begins with America's #1 news magazine 60 Minutes, and then television's most watched new drama Cold Case. Charlie Sheen and John Cryer host the People's Choice Awards, all here. That's tonight, Sunday on CBS. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
Dick, you watch Peyton Manning run the offense with ease, and it's almost a reflection of the way he's been uncustomarily loose in practice the last 2 weeks. He told us, you know, we've got so many young kids, the veterans have been on them all year, but I just wanted to loosen things up. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, when they faced Denver and they moved Jeff Saturday, the center, over to right guard, he actually lined up behind guard during practice and had the entire team rolling on the floor. He just thought that because there was so much pressure, particularly to get that first win, that he had to take the lead and loosen things up.
Yeah, he's such a perfectionist that sometimes he's a little too stern with his teammates on even little mistakes. So they're trying to have some fun with your own human error. Dominic Rhodes and not James in there, and it's Rhodes for a couple. Brings up 3rd down, and the clock cannot be stopped by Kansas City. You might have stay tuned for the Subway post-game report. Jim and the All-Star cast in New York to assimilate what this game has become, and the impact on the team that will be playing New England a week from today for the AFC Championship, one step from the Super Bowl.
If the Colts don't get a first down, Kansas City will get the football back.
Manning right down to 1 second, gives to Rhodes. He stopped short of the first down at the 27, about 2 yards shy. That brings up 4th down. It's about 12 seconds difference between the end of the game and this play clock. 13-3, 3 straight times in the playoffs, Kansas City, and they're seconds away from 3 just disastrous defeats here at Arrowhead.
Well, what does Indianapolis do right now?
Looks as if they're going to let it go right down to use every second.
And you know something? We may see a punt. We may see a punt.
Now timeout called by the Colts. 13 seconds to go.
The one thing about a punt is it would take some time. It takes a good 3 seconds, 4 seconds before you have to pooch the ball. Then the ball's in the air for a little while. Then if nobody fields it cleanly, it rolls around and eats up some more time.
You see this number 17 Hunter Smith crowding toward that huddle, but Manning is coming back on the field.
Well, the other one is that Peyton Manning can take off with the football, run around with it for a while, and then throw it.
As we saw last night, throw it as high as you can.
Right. That's the way New England ended the game last night. So there are a variety of ways to chew up as many of those 13 seconds as you can imagine. But either way, I would have to think, unless they get the first down.
4th and 3. Rhodes, the running back.
Of course, what's to make you think that they won't get the first down?
Good point. Rhodes behind a wall of white blockers, and he is stopped shy of the first down, and the clock stops on the fourth down play at 8 seconds. So they take over on downs, Kansas City, with a chance to wind up and look for a miracle throw at the 27-yard line. Not many plays in the old book. You're really going to the back of the book to find something here.
Well, but all you can hope for is the miracle reception or some sort of a defensive penalty that would give you one more shot if you got enough yards where you could throw the ball into the end zone.
A little hook and lateral. Or
keep in mind it can't end on a defensive penalty. Right now the safeties of the Colts are about 37 yards from the line of scrimmage. These guys back here are a long way from the line.
It's the line of defense. Doss, Harris, and Bashir. You got Dante Hall in there. They may want to try to get it to their speediest open field runner. No, they're going to throw it up the middle, and Holmes tackled immediately at the 41. He wanted a lateral, but there was no one there, and the game is over. The Colts with a remarkable offensive effort here in Kansas City. Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and the rest of this Indianapolis team not punting for 2 consecutive playoff games, and they come into a Arrowhead Stadium with 79,000 partisans and earn a 38-31 win. What a game.
Well, and I guess depending on which team you're rooting for, it was either the most incredible offensive performance you've seen in a long time out of Manning or the Colts. I suspect if you're a Chiefs fan, you're looking at one of the biggest defensive collapses you've ever seen.
And on the other end,